name is Mico with Royal Motor Sales, and I wanted to record a short video about a DSG, direct shift gearbox. We have 2011 GTI 4-door DSG, so this is a perfect car to do a quick demo of the way the DSG works. So DSG is basically a dual shift gearbox. There are two clutches inside. It's more like a manual transmission inside, but you have full automatic functions. Plus it's very fast because of the two clutches that just go from one to another. So let's take a look. We're going to start from the regular drive mode. This transmission is extremely dynamic, meaning it responds to the way you push the gas, to your input. So we're going to start with just drive mode, and I'm going to try to be as smooth as possible. So we start in first gear. This is second gear, third gear, and this should be about fourth gear. So as you can see, it shifts very low, tries to give you the best gas mileage possible and keep it very quiet. Now, in the same drive mode, it's going to respond completely differently if I'm going to push it harder. So right now I'm just going to push it all the way. It goes almost up to 6,000 RPM. Actually, right now it's going over 6,000, so pretty much through the red line in the same drive mode. So as you can see, even without doing anything with the shifter, you can have a lot of versatility with this car. Next thing that you can do, you have the sport mode. So sport mode will be more aggressive all the time, not as good in the gas mileage. It's going to be a little bit louder, but it's going to keep the RPM higher for you. So I'm just going to let this car to go through. And with these cars, you have to be a little bit careful in the first gear because there's so much torque that sometimes it starts spinning wheels and ESP kicks in. So this is first gear, second, third. Alright, so we're almost at 7,000 RPM before it shifts. And right now it's still in sport mode. As you can see, it holds the RPM higher. It's almost at 3,000 RPM. So if I punch it, it responds faster. And you don't need to wait for the transmission to shift then. Let's do a quick turn. Now, when you put it back to drive, you have the option of putting it into manual mode. So when you push it to the side, you have the manual. In front of me, it shows me which gear I'm in the right upper corner. It just says 1. Let's see if I can get out of the way. Alright, so in the first gear, you can shift in two different ways. You can use the shifter. Up will be up shift, down will be down shift. And then you have paddles on the steering wheel, which will allow you do the same thing, just much faster and a little bit more convenient. So you have downshift on the left side, upshift on the right side. Alright, so let's start. We're in the first gear. Get a little bit of speed. You can shift any what time you want. So right now we're in second gear, third gear, fourth gear. And now if you want to downshift, right now I'm going to use these. So from fourth, I can shift really quickly to second gear if I want to accelerate. Put it to third, and when you slow down, like right now it goes to second, and then goes to first gear. So it downshifts for you, so it's not going to let you stall the engine. And do another turn. And now I wanted to show you what happens if you put it in manual mode, but you don't actually shift. This is how you get the full acceleration of the car. You just floor it all the way in the manual mode and see what's going to happen. So it goes pretty much close to 7,000 RPM and shifts 10. And as you can see, another thing, in third gear we're almost at 60 miles per hour. Next thing to try is what happens if you're in the drive or the sport mode and you use one of the paddles. What's going to happen is that if you're in higher than the first gear and you touch one of the paddles, mostly the downshift, it will go into the manual mode. It's going to stay in the manual mode for about 20 seconds or until you stop or until you hold this paddle. There's a sign off, so if you hold this for 2 seconds, it's going to go back to drive mode. So again, we're in drive mode right now. First gear, second, third. Now I'm going to touch the paddle, and I'm in manual mode second. I'll shift back to third, and we'll see what's going to happen. So right now I'm just going to slow down. I'm going to stop. Goes to second and goes to drive. And last thing that I want to do with this car, a lot of people complain about this, the DSG, how it feels when when it rolls down the hill or just doesn't respond the way the normal transmission. What happens is, let's say if you're on the hill, right now I'm on the slide hill, when you don't stop the car all the way, it stops kind of. Well, this one, the hill is just not big enough. But what happens is it might roll back, which is normal. What you want to do, if you're on a steep hill, you bring it to a complete stop. Then when you take the foot off the brake, you have a little bit of hill hold for about 2 seconds. It holds it for you. So right now the hill is not steep enough. It still takes me forward. But on the other one, on the steeper hill, instead of rolling back, the car will hold, so you can take your foot off the brake, on the gas, safely, and it's going to be fine for the car. And another thing, let's say I'm on the drive mode, and now I'm just going to put it in reverse real quick. And then, let's say from reverse, we're rolling back, put it to drive. See, it still goes back, and this is normal. What you want to do to avoid that is, again, if we're in reverse mode, going back, what you want to do is you want to stop completely, then put it to drive, and then it's not going to roll back. That's about it.